The atmosphere around the Constantia Waldorf School is that of a community. You'll find that people from different classes all coming together, sitting together, playing together on the fields, and it's really great to have this mix of people.
The atmosphere is very special, and the space is held with a real sense of love, and the environment is enabling in sense of giving you a feeling that you can do what you set out to do. For example, those who aren't fantastic in maths can find an opportunity with other strengths like jewelry design and art. That kind of environment gives a sense of safety and love and containment, which I really can remember.
I think you learn things at a Waldorf school which a lot of school kids unfortunately don't have access to in government curriculums, and you cover things that are not deemed necessary for your education nowadays in government schooling, but are so necessary, I think, just for your soul in a way. And just practically as well, I think it helps create entrepreneurs, it helps create practical thinkers, and it's what we need now in this world.
The fact that I did things like crafts and knitting and sewing, and so I think those elements of Waldorf have served me very well, because while I managed to then get an economics degree and an MBA, it's always been balanced against my ability to be creative and to see things from a much more sort of artisanal and hands-on approach.
I enjoyed all the cool things we got to do that were really adventurous. Obviously the Class 12 project stands out as a hugely adventurous opportunity that engenders a real sense of taking a courageous step in a direction that maybe scares you, and I really value those opportunities that we had to push ourselves in different directions. The amount of time and commitment from the teaching staff towards things like the plays and the Parsifal trip through the mountain, those are things which really stand out as adventurous and courageous and fun.
3, 2, 1.
For my Class 12 project, it involved sending high-altitude balloons with cameras to the stratosphere, and once the balloon reached the stratosphere, it would take photos of Earth from a height of 100,000 feet. And my favorite part about this project was chasing the balloons. So what would happen is the balloons would be launched from a location, and we would have to drive in a car afterwards chasing this balloon to where we would think it would land. And that whole experience, sitting in the car tracking it, it was just a really, really great vibe. And then seeing the images afterwards once we retrieved it was quite literally out of this world. Constantia Waldorf has given me a really well-rounded education where creativity and intellect meet, and for me this was really prominent since I'm an intellectual, but the creative side of Waldorf has really brought about another whole side to me that I didn't even know was there.
For me, it was the freedom to become who I wanted to become. I started out at Waldorf as a very shy, introverted child. I then chose to do speech and drama as a matric subject, and in fact I was made Oberon in Midsummer Night's Dream. So for a very shy guy to go from grade 6 to grade 9 and eventually be cast as the Fairy King was a big step for me. If I was at a traditional, what I would call township Cape Flat school, I would never have been exposed to things like drama and other things which just allowed me to become the person I am today.
Looking back at how art is taught at a Waldorf school, I found it really fascinating, because the way that I work now speaks so much to what you learn while you're in primary school in Waldorf. And now I can really appreciate the fact that I'd gone through that whole colour education. So it's interesting how it's come full circle.
The Constantia Waldorf School has a 13th year. The reason for the 13th year is because for the first 12 years at Waldorf, you are following a Waldorf curriculum, which has got its own activities that you complete, like the Class 12 project and the Class 12 plays, which are done in the same year. And it's these things that I enjoy the most about Waldorf. The 13th year is really just there for you to do your matric, which is required by South African universities. But what you gain from doing that 12th year properly, it gives you opportunities that you wouldn't otherwise have. And I think that that's way more important than getting to university maybe 1 year early. But also I think that by the end of your schooling at Waldorf, you are really well-rounded and you're a lot more suited to make a choice about where you want to go and what you want to do as you have had this experience.
I really feel like the extra year gives students an opportunity to dip their toe in the idea of, or what is it like with less structure. And I really noticed in my friends who also went to Waldorf going to university that was a really helpful bridge to be able to undertake things without too much kind of hand holding. So I really found a great benefit in the 13th year.
Having been to Waldorf is always something I regard as, I'm very proud of it, and I think employers, whether they saw it at an interview stage or saw it as it coming out in my approach to running a business. So what actually came into effect was having a systemic way of thinking. I think that whole kind of mind, body and spirit is how I approach management. I mean, I see myself as having to deal with the operational issues, having to deal with the intellect, but also having to deal with the heart of the person. And so, whether it was the CEO of the CTICC or here in a senior position in provincial government, I bring that softer edge of understanding the complete human being. And so while you can performance manage people, there's an expectation about bottom line. The anthroposophical view of the world is what I bring into my management style and in the way that I see myself as a leader in the business world.